Not only a new record average high, but it's also a new high in terms of the ratio of CEO pay to the average worker, which hit 243 times this year.
What did you do this morning? Maybe did some of the dishes that piled up over the long weekend, or made yourself a little breakfast to kick off the working week. Well, if you're one of Canada's top 100 CEOs, you made money. A lot of money. In fact, 43 minutes into the working day, you already made more money than most Canadians will all year.
This has been sort of an ongoing trend. Not every year is a new all-time high, but it has been happening fairly regularly.
The Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives says by 9:43 Tuesday morning, the top 100 CEOs in Canada already made over $58,000. That includes the heads of Canada's biggest banks, grocers, telecoms, and natural resources companies. One thing these companies have in common, they limit the CEO's base salary but make it up in bonuses. 83% of CEO compensation came as bonuses tied to performance. But even if companies did badly, CEOs got paid.
During the pandemic, there was a lot of bad luck. I mean, there was a lot of companies that lost a lot of money. But half of the top CEOs that year still made the list, either because they received government support or their bonus formulas were changed to avoid the impact of COVID-19 on those bonuses.
The CCPA proposes 4 tax changes to address this. Pay is normally deducted from corporate taxes, but salaries over $1 million could be excluded from those deductions. In addition, only half of capital gains are taxed in Canada, unlike the UK and US, where all capital gains are taxed.
We've allowed the wealthy to have their way in terms of policy that has made this inequality possible. And a lot of their influence has been on very favorable tax policy, very favorable to them, which is very disfavorable to the rest of us.
These ideas usually raise fears of the ultra-wealthy fleeing to low tax havens overseas. But David McDonald of the CCPA says that's not what happens. He says most CEOs are promoted from within and unlikely to emigrate easily, while D.T. Cochrane from Canadians for Tax Fairness says even if money leaves, the rest of the economy doesn't.
That doesn't mean that the productive capacity leaves the country. It doesn't mean that our natural resources leave the country. It doesn't mean that our labor capacity leaves the country. All of the things that we actually need to have a healthy, productive economy, that stuff is all still right here.
In Ottawa, Shally Lee, City News.